All right, Rob. What should we talk about today? What's going on with you? I haven't spoken to you in a while. I mean, I think since we last spoke, you got married and other stuff happened.
Oh yeah, I got married on the hottest day of the year, so that was
Oh.
that was an experience.
Wow, were there a lot of hot takes? I don't know. I mean, it feels like there ought to be a joke in there, something about it being hot on your wedding, and but I can't think of it because I'm a little out of it. I just published my Mac OS review just like an hour or two ago before we recorded this.
Yes, you did. You did, and I've started reading it. I think I'm 3 or 4 pages
All
in.
right, all right.
So yeah, it seems like a pretty solid release.
Yeah.
The widgets are looking good. I can live with this. It's okay.
Yeah, well, it's like one of the things I was very careful to point out to people is like, if you don't like the widgets, don't complain to me because because you don't have to deal with the widgets. You can leave them behind the clock like an animal if you want to. I mean, you don't have to deal with them if you don't like that stuff on your desktop. And I get it. Some people like to have a nice, clean, pristine desktop. That's a choice that I respect and I can get behind. But I find the utility of these widgets pretty darn good, and as a result, I'm all in on the widgets. Right now, I'm looking at the weather, the air quality, a little month calendar, the fact that the electricity here in North Carolina is not going to be clean again until roughly 1 a.m. My grocery list, the packages coming to my house, which we can talk about that, batteries for all my devices connected to this Mac. Some like 3 different timery widgets, a music box widget of music I've saved for later, and what's this other one? Is this Shazam? Yeah, this one is Shazam. I got a Shazam one here. I put that one up this morning. I don't even remember what it is anymore. But yeah, I actually had until very recently. I haven't put too many widgets on my. I had a lot of widgets on my home screen, but people don't, the developers are only just now getting all these out there. So I still feel like I have to sort through a bunch of widgets and try them all out and see what fits in my life. Because, on a 27-inch screen, you got room to grow. But,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
but you don't have infinite space. And on my MacBook Air, it's very cramped because unlike on the iPhone, you can't stack these things. And on top of that, when you switch between spaces, they stay the same, which I think is a miss right there. I really think that's a miss. I think you should be able to set up a space in Mac OS that's like John's music space and has like my music widgets and Apple Music and stuff like that. And then I think you should have like your workspace where you have your more businessy stuff going on. But to have them the same on all spaces. To me, that says spaces is kind of like it's a feature on the it's a feature in the lineup, as they say. It's like something that it exists, but it's not like super well supported anymore. I don't think.
Yeah, it certainly sounds. I don't know how many people are using spaces per se. Like I'm sure people are using like full screen.
Yeah.
Like I have music full screen and it's hidden away because, if I'm playing it, I don't need to actually look at what it's doing, which is usually breaking or, stop playing for no reason.
Right.
So
well,
I try to just keep that hidden away.
And I think in a sense that Stage Manager is a replacement for spaces without taking spaces away. I think that's kind of, I mean, they have a similar concept, I guess I would say, in that they're designed to kind of let you tidy up your desktop by limiting the number of apps per screen, basically. But one kind of handy. Here's a hot tip for you, Rob.
Oh, go on.
Even if you're not a spaces person, open up a second space so that when you want to see your desktop widgets, all you have to do is a quick 3-finger swipe on your trackpad to get to because then your space is empty, right? And then they you can just kind of click on the screen there, and you've got them all live for you. You can see them all.
Oh, that's really smart.
Yeah, see, I got that. Or you can use a hot corner. I've been using a hot corner a bit for this too. The problem I have with hot corners is I triggered them way too frequently by accident.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I do too. I have like bottom left, I think, locks my Mac.
Yeah.
Which I believe I've even done when we've been recording before. And obviously locking your Mac sometimes affects things. Like music will continue to play,
Right.
but the play pause won't work.
Right.
And I've done that a few times where I've locked it and I'm trying to pause music and I'm like, oh, I've got to unlock it again.
Right.
So yeah, I keep the lock one just because it's kind of useful at work, so I can just like swipe my mouse down there and walk away. But yeah, I totally agree with you. Like, they're way too easy to trigger.
Yeah, no, I do it all the time. I have the upper right is my one that shows my desktop, which is handy for the widgets. And the bottom right is the one that locks my Mac. I don't have, what do I have on the, I think I might have, no, I don't have anything set on the left side. But anyway, so there you have it. There you have it. That's my top tip. But yes, it's good to be done. It's good to be finished. It's good to be finished in September instead of mid-October, because typically what would happen this time of year is that iOS and iPadOS would come out. I have a hand in some of the production side of Federico's review, which usually keeps me busy for at least a few days. And then I do a lot of app reviews after that, and then I roll right into my macOS review, and that doesn't finish until, like middle to third week of October. And before you know it, it's like the holidays, and my rest of my year is a blur. But this year, so it was a blessing in disguise, I guess, that it was done by September 26th. But the problem is that I've been traveling a lot lately, and so what I had to do is get it ready way in advance, which was super painful to get it over the finish line while I was traveling. But I got it out, and so it's finished, and I'm very happy about that being done. Being done is the thing I'm mostly happy about, because at the very end, it becomes like a complete obsession, and it becomes very hard for like Federico and I to do a podcast and not just talk about about our reviews, because it's literally, I haven't watched television in like 3 weeks. I've listened to some good music. Haven't played any video games. It's literally, I've just been doing nothing but this stupid review for a while now, and it's quite a life. But now it's finished, and I'm glad to be back on the Ruminate podcast talking to you about, of course, it. But we should talk about other things. You know what I mean? We should talk about that the folding chair that Logitech wants you to buy for $300, Rob.
Oh boy, yeah. This is you sent me this right before we started recording. My initial reaction was what I said to you. Like, it kind of looks pretty cool. I don't actually think $300 is that bad for what it is.
No, because it's not just a folding chair. It's one of these chairs for a driving sim video game. So it's got a steering wheel, and it's also got pedals. So I think that's become. Driving games have really been taken next level with all the ray tracing and 4K displays and things like that, and so you can get a really cool immersive experience. And there are a lot of chairs that are built for this, but not everybody has room in there where they live for some giant big recliner chair that's like the cockpit of an actual F1 racer or something like that. It's like, so this is like the folding chair version, where it essentially it folds up when you're finished, and they show it in this article on The Verge, kind of lying next to someone's desk, and it looks like it. This I could actually put in my office, whereas I don't have room for more furniture in here.
No, definitely. Like you say, I'm not sure there's much else to say about it, really. But yeah, somebody I know has one of these like racing gaming chair things, and yeah, it takes up a lot of space.
Big. They're all pretty big, because you got to have something out in front of you for your feet, as well as the steering wheel and all that stuff. It's like a really big gamer chair, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm actually looking at this and I'm thinking, that's really comfy. I wonder if I could mount my laptop where the steering wheel is.
I know. Well, when I first saw the article, I actually thought that was what this is, that this was some sort of ergonomic, sit out at the beach and I don't know, do your development work on the beach with some sort of weird tray where the laptop goes, but it's for video games. And I think it's fun. It's of course funny to make fun of a folding chair that's $300, but it looks like a pretty good thing. Logitech, I think Logitech is an interesting company because they make some really good hardware, but they also make some junk too. It kind of runs the gamut.
Yeah, they do a bit of everything. But Yeah, I mean, if this is the kind of thing you're into, and you need you need to at least save some space, then yeah, I mean, this looks perfect, to be honest.
I know. So Rob, I was telling you before we got started that I have a sickness, and my sickness is because of this stupid review. I was not sleeping very well last night, and I woke up in the middle of the night thinking about what would you think I would think about in the middle of the night at 2 a.m? Well, of course, shortcuts and the action button on the iPhone 15 Pro. I was thinking about what can I do with that? What would be cool and interesting? And I thought immediately, I need a presence sensor from Aqara, the FP2, because what if this thing could sense when I sit down in front of the TV and just make everything turn on for me?
Sure, of course, because why wouldn't you need that?
Right, or something similar. So I 2:30 in the morning, I pull out my phone, I get on Amazon, I see that it'll come before lunchtime, so I order it, and then I go back to sleep. So it's here. It came, and I haven't had a chance to set it up yet. I actually, one of my post review projects is to set up Home Assistant, because I got the Home Assistant Yellow, which is basically you have to supply your own Raspberry Pi, but then it's a board with some other hardware on it and a case, and you just basically pop the Raspberry Pi in there, install the software, and you're good to go. And I think what it should be able to do is open, because Home Assistant has its own iOS app that supports shortcuts. I should be able to access a lot of the presence. I did a little research on Reddit at 2 a.m. too, to confirm that I think that I should be able to access all the presence data over Home Assistant, and hopefully do that through shortcuts too. I don't know for sure yet because I haven't tried any of this, but that's the theory right there.
You're really trying me, making sure I get all these links for the show notes as well while you're talking.
Yes.
I do what I can with the show notes, but yeah, I did see this Home Assistant little, like you say, it's like a little case with a Zigbee module and some Ethernet and all sorts of stuff going on. This looks like fun.
It's got a couple of USB-A ports, I think, and maybe a USB-C for power, Ethernet. Yeah, I think it's actually smart what they do. They don't supply a Wi-Fi module because they're like, if you want consistent home hub to actually work, it should have a wired connection to the internet, which, that's true. I mean, I think that's very true. A lot of products try to do it over Wi-Fi, but that can cause a lot of trouble. And so this thing, you have to have it wired to your router or whatever. But I've got an empty slot on my router, so that won't be a problem. And it's pretty small. It's not like super small, but it's a pretty compact thing. And I bought it a while ago. I got it because until very recently, the latest Raspberry Pis were very, very hard to get. Yes. And they were prioritizing like enterprise clients or something like that. I mean, it was for like 2 years, it was almost impossible to get a Raspberry Pi. And now I got mine from Canada. I mean, some company in Canada. There's only a couple of online stores in North America that are even selling them, but they are available. And I got that pretty fast. The Home Assistant Yellow took a few days. And then I got some memory for it, which some storage for it, where everybody's like, why do you need storage for that? I was like, I don't know, but it was cheap. So, so a 500 gigabyte SSD, it has a slot. And now I can put my, all my Linux apps on there. It's the Euro Linux in my house, Rob. It really is.
Oh.
Finally.
Yeah, finally. Yeah, no, I remember, would have been a couple of years ago now when I was trying to get a Raspberry Pi Zero. And I ended up buying off a guy on Facebook Marketplace because you just couldn't get them anywhere. Like, I didn't pay over retail. Like, the guy was selling it at retail price, which was really nice of him because they were going for like 3 or 4 times the price. But that was the only place I could get it, was to just go to this dude's house and just buy it off of him.
Well, at least he was nearby. I mean, that's good. Well, yeah, the pandemic did weird things to supply chain things, but it seems like an awful lot of those kind of things are back to normal. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, it seems to be pretty much. I think it's mostly you can, or at least with the Raspberry Pi, you can pretty much pick up what you need now.
Yeah. So that was good. That'll be a project for later, along with this presence sensor, which apparently this can like tell whether you're lying down in bed or standing up, or what part of the room you're in, and all this.
Oh wow!
Yeah, all this kind of stuff. Because it uses millimeter wave technology. So I'm basically going to be shooting radar through my house at myself. It has fall detection too, but I'm told you have to mount it to the ceiling, and I don't think that's gonna work very well. Only not it's not a matter of logistics. It's a matter of convincing others in my household of having this little plastic thing stuck to the ceiling, which I don't think is going to fly.
No, I don't think it is. Start drilling holes to run the cables.
No. This will get tested out in my office, which is like it's a safe space.
Yeah, safe space for your tinkering.
Yes, exactly. But it has to be rock solid and unobtrusive if it's going to migrate to the rest of the house.
Yeah, definitely. So you've been thinking about HomeKit and folding chairs and all sorts of stuff. My past month has mostly been thinking about ways to get people to give money to St. Jude.
Yes,
in various different ways. So. If anybody doesn't know, or I imagine there's probably a lot of crossover with Relay listeners with our listeners, but every year Relay run an annual fundraising event during September because it's Cancer Awareness Month, and you can do sub campaigns underneath that. So so I am doing one of those, and I set my goal at $250 at the start, and Adam, who runs omg.lol, immediately gave me $250 and then committed to 50% of his earnings for the entire month.
Wow.
And this was within probably an hour of me, posting about this. And then it kind of got a bit out of control. We are now at $11,600.
Yes, and Rob is number one amongst these sub campaigns. So that's the highest one, at least as we're recording this, by a few $1,000s at least.
Yeah, I'm winning at charity, I think. Is that so?
Yes, you are winning charity. You'll get a tote bag for your efforts. But no, but it's really great what you're doing, and I think it's a really neat idea. I had not, until Relay started this last year, I had not run into the concept of these sub campaigns. That was kind of a foreign thing to me. But it's basically, it allows people like you who have, obviously connections with people who are different than what the Relay or go beyond the typical Relay crowd, to then reach people even further out into that community and bring in even more money that way, which I think is really a genius way to kind of go about this stuff. So that's really been cool to watch. They just finished their podcast-a-thon, which was just this last Friday. So that was pretty cool. That was like 12-hour grueling session, I'm sure, for those guys, but they always do an amazing job with it.
Yeah, and this, beyond just my campaign, this turned into, I've created 4 websites now related to the fundraising. So the first one, and it has an amazing name, John, right? So this first one, you embed your fundraising campaign on your website. I called it September.
Oh, nice. Nice.
And then this turned into a whole thing, and I made one, because one of the other things you can do with the sub-campaign, if you hit $250, you get a desk mat.
Right.
So I registered deskmat.help, and it lists all the campaigns that are getting close to $250. And then somebody said, why don't you do one for people who haven't raised anything yet? Because if you raise $1, you get a Relay FM challenge coin for the month for the. And I said, I'm not buying any more domains. I'll just put it on a subdomain. And then Stephen Hackett bought coinme.dad.
Coinme.dad.
And this in the Relay Discord turned into, if you were a person who donated to one of these campaigns with $0, you're a dollar daddy. So there are there's at least maybe like 15 or 20 campaigns that just have a donation that says "From your dollar, Daddy."
That's cool. That's really funny. I like that.
Yeah, that was a fun one. But I think the most exciting thing for us, for Ruminate listeners, and I don't think we've done this ever in the 8 years we've been doing this, there's Ruminate stickers available. Anyone who donates $10 or more gets a full sticker set, which is 4 different stickers.
Nice.
There's one for Ruminate, there's one for my other podcast, We Got Family,
right.
and then Adam has done 2 OMG.lol ones.
Oh, nice.
And I believe it's about 100 or so packs of these we've got to send out so far. But there's you've still got, there's another 4 or 5 days to the end of September.
Right.
And the campaign will probably run a day or so after that as well. But if you want these, the link will be in the show notes right at the top. There'll be a really obvious link.
Yeah.
And yeah, I spent a long time on these stickers.
Oh, I bet you. They show it too. I mean, I really love the Ruminate one. It's really amazing.
Yeah, I was the Fast and Furious one was kind of easy because there's a lot of like memes,
sure.
and like there's like a whole subculture with like street racing and stuff like that. And I did that one first, and I was sort of racking my brains like, what kind of thing can I do for Ruminate? I didn't want to just do the cover art. And then I thought, pizza. Like, we always talk about
right,
pizza.
It's true. another one of my many obsessions is pizza.
Yeah, I mean, we probably mention pizza at least sort of once every couple of episodes or so. So I went with this sort of classic pizza box type design, just in a green and red. And those stickers are arriving in the next 48 hours. So there will be photos of these stickers to give people a chance to see them in case they haven't donated and they see them and they go, well, I've obviously got to have these.
One thing I would suggest to anybody who listens to Ruminate and knows Federico, who I obviously run Mac Stories with, is that if you ever order a pizza locally and it comes in one of those red and green boxes and maybe it has a picture of Italy on it, or it has somebody, a caricature of an Italian person or something, you should really take a picture of that and send it to him on Mastodon, because I think he'd appreciate it. I occasionally will send him a pizza box photo when I order pizza, and there's like a big, it'll say, oh, Italiano, and then it'll have a picture of the, the map of Italy or something like that on it.
Yeah, I definitely played around with a few of those sort of the Italian pizza chef caricatures when I was making it. I settled on just a pizza slice.
Yes, it worked really well. I like it a lot. I mean, it looks fantastic. But those, it's because it's very. It really evokes the kind of like what you would find in your typical local pizza place kind of box, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was going for, and like I said, I think I downloaded about 20 or so fonts just to find the right one for the Ruminate text.
Yep.
So I will make that artwork, this week's artwork as well. So if you're listening, you should be able to see it in your podcast player.
Nice. Well, those guys have raised, I'm looking at it right now, just shy of $572,000, which is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been going up quite a bit since the podcast-a-thon on Friday, because I think I checked in. I think they finished the podcast-a-thon maybe at like 5:30 or 5:40, something around there maybe. But it's continued through the weekend and into this week, so it's looking, it's really moving along there. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they hit 600 before the end of the week.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. They're really going for it. And you can help. The links will be there.
Yep, definitely.
Get yourself some stickers. I won't personally be sending them out, but Adam will very nicely ship them out to you.
Very nice.
So. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much been my month. Just
I'm sure that's kept you busy. There's stuff like that takes a lot more time than I think people realize sometimes. It is a lot of work, but I mean, to do it right, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, the funny thing is, me and Adam now have a list of ideas for next year, because this year was a bit sort of rushed. Adam said, "Oh, I'll help you out." Next year, we've already got some ideas, so That's going to be a fun one next
Very
year. But
nice.
we'll get through this one first.
Yeah, one year at a time. You get a little break. That'll get a little break. That'll be good. All right. Well, very good. And I think if people are, I don't know if there's still tickets available for that thing that Relay's doing for their 10th anniversary in London next July. But you and I are both going to be there. I thought I would mention that because,
yes,
if people are around, we'll maybe see you at the show. That'd be pretty cool because we'll be there. I got to make my plans. I haven't bought any plane tickets or anything, but I've told the guys that I'm going to be there, so I better be there.
Yeah, I've just checked. There are a few tickets left.
Okay, good.
So I will I'll make sure that's in the show notes. But yeah, me and you we've been doing this for 8 years. We've never met in person.
I know, it's terrible. It's a travesty, really. I may combine it with a trip to Ireland and to Italy. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. I may just spend my summer of 2024 in Europe, write my macOS review next year from a cafe in Rome or something. How does that sound?
Yeah, very nice. I like that.
We'll see.
I like that. To be fair, we probably would have met had it not been for the pandemic because I was planning a big trip to America.
That's true.
I think we went to a travel agent about 2 weeks before before it was locked down.
Oh my gosh! Wow, you're lucky.
So
wow, yeah, that's amazing. I think of all the things that I did right before the pandemic hit, and it was we were moving Mac Stories to America, so it was an American corporation. I literally sat in a bank and signed documents for our bank accounts the day before the bank said nobody can come in the bank anymore. and so, but for that appointment, it would have been really difficult for us to have any way to collect money or pay people. And I was very, very glad that I got into the bank that day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird that we're 3 years in, and we're 3 years after, and we're still sort of going, "Oh, do you remember when this thing happened?" But it's been quite the time. But we're going to get to meet next year, and it's going to be a nice show, and I'm sure we'll be able to grab dinner and stuff like that. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you know what I just got? There's going to be an iPhone. There's going to be an iPhone 15 Pro version of Resident Evil 4. And it's going to cost $60.
Why would I pay $60 for that on my internet telephone?
Oh God, what are they doing?
Wow.
Mike just sent me this link. I thought I saw it somewhere else where it was not that much money, but maybe it is. Oh, here it is. This is what I was looking at. I was looking at the Mac App Store thing. And it's got an in-app purchase. And did they list? I see. It must be that that Touch Arcade has some information because there's no information about the in-app purchase on at least the Mac App Store version of this yet. So they must have heard it. It must have been from the Tokyo Game Show just happened, and that's where Capcom said that they were bringing Resident Evil 4 to all Apple platforms. And as I understand it, Resident Evil 4 is going to be a universal app that you'll be able to play on all platforms. Whereas the Village, which is Apple's favorite thing to trot out, it's a separate purchase because it's been on the Mac, but it's coming to iPhone and iPad. So that will be a separate purchase. I'm not a big fan of Resident Evil games personally. Just horror games are not my thing. But Apple seems pretty cozy with Capcom these days, and I was planning to buy this just to see how it performed on the iPhone 15. I'm not sure I really want to spend $60 on this game that I don't think I would probably enjoy to begin with. So we'll see.
No problem. Well, and that's also another link you've got to send me now.
I do. I've got it right here. Mike just sent me this article.
Big show notes today. Well, let's wrap it up on that late breaking news.
Right. And, sounds good. Everybody go out and pre-order Resident Evil Village 4, but do maybe give your $60 to St. Jude instead of to Capcom. That's going to be my advice.
Yeah, no, that's good advice. I think that makes way more sense.
All right.
Speak to you later.
Bye.